Welcome everybody back to 184 blissful episodes of The Lookout. I'm of course Meelz. I'm here with LJ. LJ, what is up?
184. We're pushing it.
It might be more. Yeah, might be more. I don't know.
Might be. I don't know. Yeah.
My biggest fear is that I've counted one episode twice, and that happened like 111 episodes ago. Oh, actually, this is 185. See, already messed up.
Wow.
Anyway.
Look at us. 185.
Well, listen, we have 184 completed, and this will be the 185th that's eventually completed. So, that's how we clean that up. Nonetheless, we are here absolutely for the beginning of our journey through Death Note, man. Death Note is a very, very interesting series. You know what? So, I started watching it once we said that we were going to start doing this. I probably watched it like a month and a half ago.
As you usually do.
Yeah, because I wanted to. So from what I've learned from doing things, and maybe this is like a behind the curtain podcast thing, if I don't watch it completely before I do the weekly thing, then I'm trying to like catch up with. I can't watch it in real time and figure things out. Like there's a different type of podcast for that, but it's not this podcast. So if I watch it in real time and not know what happens next, I have no context of anything that's going on, and then I sound like a blithering idiot. So from pretty much since like, how can I say this? Probably the One Piece one. Yeah, probably the One Piece thing that we did this summer, where I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch all of this, so I have a good like kind of like base for everything. And then once we start doing it weekly, I'll just watch it again, and I can pick up on all the other stuff like after that, because I'm not a person who can watch it the first time and kind of like figure it out completely. I'm a multiple watch poppy. Like I need to see it more than once, need to see it maybe even more than twice to kind of like really, really sink my teeth into things. When was the first time you watched Death Note? How about that?
Shit, when was the first time I watched Death Note? I didn't even finish it the first time I watched it.
Is this the first time you're going to finish it?
Yeah.
Wow. So you don't know how it ends?
Not really. I kind of never. I know via spoilers about some things that happen.
Sure.
But really, the first time I watched it, I think I pretty much watched it until around this point.
Huh.
And then I kind of just It became one of those animes that was like, at the time I was watching it, I was this young and wiry anime fan, so I'm like, I could watch 17 animes at once. And then it just kind of, fell out the pocket.
That's so crazy. You recommend? I'm thinking like you saw the end. You know how this ends.
No, I just
like, oh my god, this wraps up so crazy. You should watch this type of vibe. That's so.
No, I just thought that this would just be a really funny anime for us to go through together. I was just like, I wonder what Meelz would think about this.
I have several thoughts.
I know you do. I chose this purely for your reaction to this anime. This is for my enjoyment. This is not even for the fans. This is for me.
Sure.
I chose it for me.
We could have figured it out. Well, so realistically, the only thing that goes through my mind every time I watch Death Note is, what if black people were in Death Note? Literally, that is probably the most dominant thought of me sitting through this. Is like, a real nigga wouldn't do this. Like, this would have been over in like 3 episodes. So I actually do have a spinoff. I have a spinoff for Death Note that I've kind of like created myself.
Okay.
I think you're really going to enjoy this.
All right.
It's Death Note, right? It's still Death Note, but we're replacing the characters with the characters from the Boondocks. So Light Yagami, who is Kira in this, is going to be Huey. L is going to be Riley, which is so funny, right? Like, it's the complete like antithesis kind of like of what actual L is. So L would be like, essentially, or Riley would be like, man, you're not a real nigga. You don't kill people with your hands and nothing like that. You use a weak ass Death Note. Something along those lines. Misa and Mane would be the little light skinned shorty that live across the street. Of course, Dad would be Granddad, You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a.
So
I
who's
think
Uncle Ruckus?
Uncle Ruckus might be shit. He might be an original. We might
He might be Ryu.
Honestly, he could be. Let me tell you something about Ryu in this series. We can do a whole thing with these characters, but the main thing that Ryuk is in the series just for like background commentary. Like something will happen to Light and be like, got you there. like his role is just like, you really got you on that one. Like it's like he's just floating around. It's so funny because I thought he would be. I've seen Ryuk, so my experience with Death Note is I have no experience with Death Note other than I guess now that I've seen the characters, I'm like, oh, those were all those cosplays are about, or those were what this is about, or something along those lines. But Ryuk is probably the more notable character from Death Note because of how he looks. But I never I didn't know he was this much of like really background character in the show. Like background, like he literally lives in the background type of character in the show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny going through all of this, but but I also love the fact that I can still watch things for the first time. So going through Death Note, I always knew that it was pretty popular, pretty notable amongst fans, pretty kind of like even controversial in a little way. But I'll be honest, the first couple episodes watching, I was like, this is kind of eerie. Beyond the standpoint of like, what would happen if black people were in this show? Because realistically, like this show doesn't go again past like 3 episodes with black people.
No, it doesn't. It's just a couple things are gonna happen. Either a nigga is gonna make sure he kills the right people and never do it again, or he's gonna get caught immediately because he's over here fucking.
It usually ends up getting caught. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's usually a better way to. I mean, they catch like
a nigga definitely gonna. A nigga's definitely gonna hit a Frank Lucas. You know, mess around, wear the fur coat to the.
No, but I'm saying like the FBI caught Dirk right as he was about to like do his thing, and you telling me that they can't catch Light Yagami? I mean, he hasn't really done anything.
But he's also not in the rap songs talking about it.
Yeah, but
listen. I love us. I love us as a people. If I have to say our one weakness is being discreet.
I'm gonna. All right, so I have another.
That's our oil to our water.
I have another hot take about Death Note in my watch of this thus far. This is the undercover story, and I know this is Japanese people, but this is the undercover story of white male privilege to the T.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This is white male privilege. The fact that no one. And I'm gonna talk about the dad too, because the dad in Death Note is probably my least favorite character for a bunch of reasons.
He kind of sucks as a cop.
He kind of sucks, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit about his character when we get to it. But he definitely sucks as a cop. But
I was like, damn, they giving everybody the title of police chief these days, ain't they?
Listen, they had no. When they get to the Misa Amane part and they like legitimately like arrest her in the street and there's like 40 niggas around it, I was like, you ain't to the one person you suspected the entire time that you've let people know that he may be this thing and stuff like that. And maybe it's because he's helping with the case. They can't just like really like bring the hammer down on him. But to me, I was just like, there's so much like, it can't be Light. Like, why can't it be Light? You're a cop, but in this situation, you're investigating and you're a cop before a father. Why the fuck can't it be Light? You know what I'm saying?
You're not even home. You don't even know this nigga.
Yeah, they realistically, they don't know this.
You really don't know. Like, he be in his room all day. There's a lot of things about Light that don't make sense to me.
He's like,
it's like he's a shut-in, but at the same time he be getting bitches. I'm just like,
yeah, he's a like sexy, attractive, stoic, smart guy,
but also at the same time is a gooner. Like,
but hates like crime and wants to live in a world where it's like free of all type of villainy and stuff like that. I was like, who is this nigga? All right, Light Yagami. They gave him way too much time to cook, too long to cook, everything like that. Again, if Death Note had black people in it, Light Yagami, you would have at least like, all right, we at least gotta lock him up just straight from now, just like under suspicion.
Yeah, for
Crazy.
sure.
They're following him to school. He would have hit
the Death Note. He would hit the Death Note spread on IG Live, anyways.
I ain't seen no one talk to his teachers. I ain't seen no one talk to his friends. I ain't seen no one talk to his family. I ain't seen no one talk to any other than niggas that people would generally, if you're investigating a situation, they would talk to. I ain't seen none of that shit. This is white privilege at its finest in anime form. Just period. It's the most white thing since Goku having to turn blonde haired and blue eyed to become extremely stronger. So it's one of those things. Let's go to the first episode of this, because things unfold and it happens, and I think things just happened in certain ways. He finds, so it's we discover this kid called Light Yagami. He's a student, very Seto Kaiba coded, and he finds the Death Note randomly. He's like, "Oh, what's this?" Da-da-da. Reads it. Reads the rules to the Death Note. Let me see if I can find the rules to the damn Death Note. Is there any rule to the Death Note that you're particularly intrigued by?
No, not really.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I think the rules are pretty straightforward. The 6 minute and 40-second thing is really oddly specific, but
so the rules to the Death Note are, especially the ones that are established in the first episode, says the human whose name is written into the Death Note shall die. Fair enough. The note will not take effect unless the writer has the person's face in their mind when writing his or her name. Therefore, people sharing the same name will not be affected. Fair. You know what? Let's clean that up so every John Smith on Earth doesn't fall to a heart attack. Every Jalen, on
listen,
Earth.
You write Jaden on there. That's a billion biracial kids out of there.
Listen, right there, just off the top. If the cause of death is written within the next 40 seconds of writing the person's name, it will happen. Okay, you say that happened first episode. Someone gets hit by a fucking truck for trying to sexually assault a girl. Yeah, I think that's what happens. If the cause of death is not specified, the person will simply die of a heart attack. I'm assuming this is like, you ain't got time to fantasy book your own death, so just here you go, heart attack. After writing the cause of death, the details of the death should be written in the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds, which is, again, oddly specific. But hey, I guess it makes for good television, or rather. Light Yagami. So he gets the Death Note.
Which is a hilarious moment, because it goes from, man, what is this? This Death Note? Who's playing a crazy joke like this? Puts it down, and then the next scene, he's like, well,
I know, right? He's like, I actually have the. He develops a god complex almost immediately.
He went crazy. He did. Right. He never stopped and thought about it. Nothing. As soon as he picked up,
I can change the world if I have this Death Note. And it's like, oh god damn it! This is what we're trying to get guns out of kids' hands in America. You know what I'm saying?
And here comes this man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Light Yagami for a bit. I have one question. I'm gonna have this question also for other characters as we pop up through them in this episode. What anime do you think he watches?
What anime do I think Light Yagami watches?
It's got to be like a psychological thriller type of.
He's definitely into, what is that? Is that Psycho-Pass?
Ooh, okay.
He's definitely a Psycho-Pass kind of guy. He's probably heavy into the Ghost in the Shell. That's his vibe.
It feels like it. You know what? You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about it at all. A little cyberpunk, a little bit.
A little cyberpunk, a little this, a little that. He might fuck around and throw a little, he might throw a curveball in there. Might watch Fruits Baskets when he's with the bitches or something like that.
Yeah, he might, he don't like he thinks Dragon Ball is the best out of all the things. He doesn't like Dragon Ball Z or GT.
Yeah, he's one of those.
He says the Future Trunks saga is alright though. Like that's what he says. The Future Trunks saga, that was alright. It was Zamasu. I get where he was coming from.
He's probably watches Kill la Kill. Bond.
Yeah.
He's like he's monster. He's kind of in that realm of people. Oh, he's definitely a Kakaguri kind of guy.
Okay. You feel like he's more of a manga reader?
No, he's for sure. He's for sure manga over anime.
Okay.
And don't you dare tell him you watch a dub.
Don't. Big time.
don't you dare tell him. Listen,
I see who I'm talking to.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's big on don't give him anything that deviates from the canon.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The subs lie and the dubs lie. You know what I'm saying?
Both of them. It's just flyers everywhere.
Fuck them. We only read manga over here, or subs at the least.
Yes,
at the least. So we get a few of these starting episodes where he's kind of like he's using the Death Note. People are dying, criminals are dying, and people are like, "Yay?" Question mark? Like,
okay,
I'm happy the world is being rid of crime, but also people are dying randomly with no explanation.
Is the world getting rid of crime? Because a lot of these people are already locked up. So, they were already getting rid of.
Well, listen, the world's never fully rid of crime. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched the end of My Hero Academia. I mean, it's just, or watch the end of Attack on Titan. It just transforms. You know what I'm saying? It don't really die. It just we multiply. You know what I'm saying? With that said, we're introduced in the second episode to L. It's like we have no choice but to bring L in because he's the only one who can find the serial murderer they've named Kira, which I find hilarious because it's the Japanese word for killer, which means, I guess in the Japanese version of the show, they just call him Killer. But Kira sounds so much cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's under the guise of Kira. And we really get, before we were introduced to like LL, like, not LL, but like L.
Mm-hmm. LL Cool J with the Death Note.
He might kill Hove.
He definitely taking Hove out immediately.
Might kill. Let me not say that.
Does he still? You're about to say something crazy. I already know you were.
I was only about to say something nuts.
You still think he holds a grudge against cannabis?
I was thinking that. That wasn't what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know that wasn't what you were thinking.
But I don't feel like. I feel like they're definitely on their like hip hop 50 as men. I respect you as a rhymer kind of vibe. I feel like that's where they're at now. Because like beefs don't really like the only beef that's still going on. Don't let 50 Cent get the Death Note is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
he's the only one who beef is still like it's forever. Like but I think most of us other adults were kind of like okay with it. And I feel like 50 dropped the death. 50 has the Death Note. He's letting niggas know he got the Death Note. He also is promoting it as an album, Death Note the album, maybe a movie, or maybe series, Power Book to Death Note. It's we're making millions.
He's making bands. What he's using that nothing for leverage in every business situation.
Absolutely. So we get to the first situation with Light versus L. And that's really the kind of like for the next number of episodes, it's really this thing. I think what's so crazy is this first bit of episodes is kind of like L hunting Light. But then the next batch, which we'll cover next week, is really like Light hunting L. So I think it's a good like dichotomy there as well. But we get the first instance of Light versus L where Light really begins to understand who the fuck he's messing with. Because they legitimately planned a whole fake newscast to air on television just to pinpoint where he was at. They were like, "Oh, we have this reporter, and he doesn't mess with L." And then it's like, "Okay, I'm gonna write his name in the death note." What is he talking about? He messed with the wrong one. Writes his name in death note, and L is like, "Gotcha, bitch. I'm actually not L at all. He was an L. He was some person who's going to be on death row anyway, and you just sped up the process." Sorry to the family who had to watch that.
Which is so funny. Like, just
it's like, bro, what? You just throwing criminals on television?
He was like, "You should have died anyways."
And he just agreed. He just agreed to play along with it. This is nuts. To die? All right, whatever. He must have paid off his family or something. Anyway, Elle says, "Actually, that wasn't me. But now we officially know where you're at, what time you're doing this, who you're targeting, all this other stuff like that." And Light is like, "Oh, the inner monologue is going crazy currently. It's like, oh, I slipped up. This L guy, we got to get him somehow." And blah, blah, blah. I think L continues to really antagonize Light throughout this entire thing. But I think he does it in a smart way. If I had to give the actual brains, I think a lot of what Light does that's reactionary is very, very cool. But it's like L who's really kind of like in control of the pacing of kind of like how this all happens. He's really like, you know what? If he has to be assertive and put himself out there, he usually does that. If he has to go, do this, he realizing that he also has to step his game up in this thing, which he eventually, once Chief Yagami, which is Light Yagami's dad, is put onto the case, he eventually reveals himself, and they have to call him Ryu Kazi.
Yeah.
But let's talk about L real quick. Would you be friends with L if you were in school?
As soon as he starts doing the no shoes thing,
I feel like you would tell him like, "Yo, bro, like, I get what you on, but like, put some shoes on." I'll find you some shoes,
like slippers at least.
Yeah, put a slide on the bottom, put an easy slide on or something. I think that's, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Elza.
He doesn't seem harmful.
He's not
in a way.
See,
he doesn't seem. He also doesn't seem like.
Well, get me in L's the slick comments.
But I think he's. I don't think he
be saying some shit on the low. He's like,
yeah, but I don't think he uses his knowledge to like really like talk down to people. I think it's just the way he is from the way he's grown up, which we find out much later in the series of how he grew up. But it's an interesting thing. I think I would be cool with him to an extent. Like I would like, what up?
I would dap him up because he kind of gives,
but he would give a very weak dap. He would
very weak dap.
It would be like very like, not crisp, not strong, that, a limp dap. Yeah.
You never meet those people that shake hands, but it's not like they're with their full hand. It's kind of like what
it's a very
their fingers.
Yeah,
it'll be like one of those. Like I don't know. You kind of just get you want to be cool with him because the vibe he gives off is also like, I'll blow this place up if I really wanted
to. Sure. I've been friends with people like that.
So it's like, I want to be cool.
I've been the person who's like, yeah, not me. It's not going to be me if it goes down. I know that for sure. What anime does L like?
What anime does L like?
I feel like OD is an isekai anime.
Yeah, he's definitely into that. I got transported into this world as a refrigerator, and now I'm, big overlord. He's in the VR. He's definitely in them like VR video games. Like he'll be in like, Shangri-La Frontier, like stuff like that.
What's that fucking popular one? The popular isekai, the one that. Oh my god!
He's definitely raving about the what's the goddamn?
Shit, I'm trying to find it. And you know what?
Suicide
I
Squad.
started
Yeah,
watching it.
he would been in that Suicide Squad, Isekai. Like, he's in that vibe.
There was one that Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. He loves that shit.
Yeah,
He loves that.
reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah, he loves that. Those kind of vibe. That seems like his vibe. Like, it's not for me, but it's the only anime you talk about, and they're at least top 5 of your top 10 anime out of the year. It's like isekai for sure.
Yeah.
So he eventually reveals himself to
he's
everybody.
Definitely a Food Wars nigga too. He's definitely a Food Wars guy. Pay attention to how he looks throughout this. He's definitely a Food Wars guy.
Ooh, you know what? You're right. You're right, because he's very big pastry. Ain't see a lot of like meats or veggies or anything like that. He ain't.
Oh man, I know his stomach be tore up.
It wasn't no ramen or anything like anything.
I didn't see him eat one vegetable.
I don't think he requested tea or anything. Like, it was just
nothing to drink, just nothing but sweets all day.
Well, God bless him. The Light with L and the battle with L and Light continues to wage on through a little bit of this. It leads to one of the more prominent episodes to me, which is the Ray Penber episode. Which, man,
now this was
sent on a dummy mission
right here.
He got sent on a dummy mission, bro. I get he's investigating.
Nah, he definitely.
But he ain't know what he.
Yeah, he got sent to get killed.
Yeah, he got. And then his girl also gets run up and done up in a very similar fashion. And the worst, even worse, low key. I'm trying to think who had the worst death, Naomi or Ray Penber? Because
Naomi, because she had a walk away.
He like whispered afterward. He was like, "And actually, I'm Kira," and she's like, "Huh? What? Huh?" And then she's like, she gets a heart attack and dies right there. And he's like, "Future." He has a lot of like Future featuring Metro moments in this series that I'm going to bring up, but the Ray Penber one, where he gets an idea of who's investigating him. He essentially I'm Kira. If you turn around, I'll fucking kill you. So let's go through this long shit on the train station, and you're gonna write down names of everybody that's ever thinking and all this other stuff like that. Clearly, they didn't have them belts that they had, what they eventually got all after the fact. So
yeah, he had no one to call. They put him on the island all alone.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, yo, y'all here with the serial killer.
They put him man to man.
Ain't even got backup for the backup. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least someone in disguise.
They were not running a zone defense. That's all I'm saying. There was no team help. There was nothing. It was you lock your man up and that's it.
Bruh, you get cooked, that's on you. Murked. He got cooked. You know what I'm saying? He had to spend 30 minutes on a train to go into nowhere. Got off the train.
Snitched on the homies. And they got the rest of the homies killed.
Yeah, immediately. He exits the train.
He killed his homies.
Well, he literally exits the train, gets a heart attack, sees Light. Light's chucking up the deuces and shit.
Throwing up gang signs in his face.
Yeah, he's like peace out.
He was doing that LeBron at the Brent Fayez concert.
He's like, tell all them other criminals. It was, you know what I'm saying? Watch your back in hell. You know what I'm saying? So Ray Penber dies, and then his detective fiance is like, oh man, I gotta, I have some news about who the Kira could be as well, based on a couple of information that he knows. And then she just happens to run into Light Yagami, and he's like, oh shit, she knows. She might have to get run up and done up too. And she gets done up herself. It is a family affair with this one. Her death is low-key very sinister. It's building up the sinisterness of this guy. You can tell that he's far removed from who he once was, and now he's fully in the role of murder with no remorse.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It went from
I'm gonna save the Earth to like, and anyone who dares to defy me is also getting killed.
Yeah, it's like you try to stop my wave, I'm gonna have to, I have to do my thing.
So another great moment is that eventually, I guess this is like shit happens. They do like a little time skip. It's like a low key kind of a time skip. They do this very subtly. Like 4 months later, they still haven't found Ray Penber's fiance, and it's like she's probably dead. Like it's been 4 months, and how do y'all not like? Did he dump the body? Like what the fuck happened? Shout out to Naomi for handing him her driver's license. It was like this thing is a kid.
Yeah,
this is a stranger. Ugh, what an idiot. Anyway,
and the fact that he was like, the funny thing about Light, the funniest thing about Light, especially during that situation, is that he was overthinking everything so much during that whole conversation. And then it just ended so like, it was like it ended in a way that felt like that. That was like, that was that easy. At the end of it was just that easy.
It was like, yeah, she's guarding you from full court press, reaches 3-point line. Eventually you launch the ball. She commits to the foul. It's a 4-point play. Game over. You know what I'm saying? Like she goofed.
Yeah,
big time. Let's see. We get a couple other things that happen. They bug Light Yagami's room because they assume because he was also there. They suspect him. Like L suspects. He was like, I'm gonna suspect everything.
I respect L's honesty with Chief Yagami, but just being like, hey, brother.
But I think he knew that Chief Yagami was low-key a scrub. Because like, here's the thing I hate the most about Light Yagami's dad, Chief Yagami. I feel like he takes every situation and kind of tries to make it a much more dramatic situation, but then also tries to make it about himself. Because clearly he cannot distinguish the lines of being a police officer and a family person. It's just clear he cannot. Light, how could it be Light? Bug my family's house. It's like, yes, we are the police. This is the FBI. This is a case with a serial murderer. Every precaution needs to be taken. And he's like having this outlandish thing. Eventually when Light and L meet, which they do, L reveals himself to Light just as like a big chess move. It's like putting your whole thing on the table. It's like, actually, I'm L. And he's like, oh, want to see if he crack. Doesn't crack because Light is like, he's good under pressure. So it is what it is. But they both get the news that Chief Yagami gets a heart attack. And I was like, here this nigga go. Like, what part of the game made you have a heart attack, Chief? You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't just hold it? You know what I'm saying? Is it high sodium? Be cholesterol too crazy?
Bro, listen, he probably wasn't sleeping well. Probably wasn't.
They had a bug his crib.
He wasn't at the crib. A lot of things probably played into that. Just bad timing overall. Just real bad timing overall.
It's just, yeah. I'm not a fan of this at all. I'm not a fan of Chief Yagami at all. Moving forward a little bit, let's see. I'm trying to see. Are we getting to the second Kira yet? We might get to the second Kira. Yeah, fuck it. Let's get it. The second Kira. We learned that more people are dying who Light put up to die. And we get all these kind of like television things of like, I'm Kira. And she's using the Death Note and is like, I want to get in contact with the first Kira or something along those lines. And we get the backstory. We learn it's Misa Amane, who is low-key a celebrity. She's like a little influencer
Yeah,
vibe. Like I'm not sure what she does. She just a
she
model,
pop,
is
a
she?
little idol over there. She probably does.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Idol.
Yeah.
Idol is definitely the right name. She's a little idol there. She into some weird shit though. Like it's a lot of darkness. Feels like she wearing a lot of bondage outfits, a lot of black, a lot of lace, a lot of leather. Um, she's kind of very interesting. Um, but overall, I think she's a fun character to this series because I think she adds a little bit of lightness. Um, it's
No pun
weird.
intended.
I think, yeah, this is true. She is one of the only female characters in the show that stays kind of like throughout the show. Because this is a very male driven. They might have low key. I also put this in my notes. I was like, they low key should not have killed Naomi. I think it would have been great to keep her around, put her on the force or something, put her on the
Because she
case,
was a
something along
good
those lines.
detective. Even when Ray she didn't even have to give enough information to her on the case, but she was already
Yeah,
making like these, was coming to these great conclusions off the little information that she had. I think that she would have been, her and L together, that would have been a great foil for Light.
I think so. Like it would have been. He would have been learning how to talk to women, all these other things. I feel like the team could have used a woman on it. Like they just have. It just seems like very like weird energy amongst the guys. But um, with that said, Misa Mane is bringing. She's cool. I like her. I like her energy. Um, what anime is Misa Mane into?
High School of the Dead.
Mm.
She's one of those like weird Hello Kitty girls.
I don't think she's that cute,
No,
but
no,
she
no,
is
no,
because
no, no. One of the
she's
weird Hello Kitty girls. Ones that like
she's
try to bite
like
your head off type thing.
what other anime can I say? She probably likes what's the fucking name of that shit that I watch?
Nah, she's really cutesy
Uh,
in the rose. Like she's definitely a Love Is War,
oh my god, what's the
Kaguya
name of
Sama
that
type.
anime? Kaguya-sama. Yes, definitely. Fuck.
She's a Oshinoko. She kind of bangs with that stuff. She's definitely into Nana.
She's into what's that shit that we watched last summer or 2 summers ago?
What did we watch 2 summers ago?
Remember, it was from a summer at Kame. Um, Jeff was supposed to be on it, then you hopped on it. I forgot the name of the show. I didn't like it. We talked about this in the Discord most recently too. Like I talked about how I didn't like the show at all. Oh my god. Let me look up my now I gotta look it up.
What did we talk?
And someone is probably yelling this over the fucking thing.
Yeah, someone's listening right now. Like, Esther, I'm gonna get you out
Yeah.
of there.
Yeah, essentially. Fuck. Summer. Tokyo Ghoul. There we go.
Yeah, definitely a Tokyo Ghouler.
Yeah, she's one of them.
Yeah,
she's
definitely.
one of them. With that said, I mean, we get a lot of more information about the Death Note from here, about the Shinigamis, and like how we can kill them, how they can off themselves. The Shinigami eyes, which essentially you cut your own lifespan in half to be able to see when everyone's going to die and be able to kill anyone without having to write their name.
Well, you can see their name too.
Yeah. Oh, right. You can see their name, so you don't have to like do the research and stuff like that. It's like
And
a
then
Chat
Light was
GPT
like,
version or
"Nah,
something.
I'm a real man. I
Yeah,
want to play the
real,
game how it's supposed to be played in its purest form."
Yeah, real niggas don't fucking cut my life in half for who? You know what I'm saying?
He was just like, "That's only gonna bring you joy."
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, we get the second fucking Kira and all this. She really jams up the plans in a big way. I don't think it's this. You look at the episode count from when Light got his death note to before he was really like main suspect, going to be brought in for something. It's completely expedited when she shows up.
Yeah,
because her thirst jams
oh
up
yeah, bro.
everything. She
She made the
loves light.
block way too hot
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah. Showing up to his crib unannounced, trying to be his boyfriend, really just off the rip. And of course, he's going to use her to her advantage. He's gaslighting the shit out of her.
Ooh, off rip too.
Yeah,
It was like he was the type of scumbag where even I was like, all right, bro. Like this is
he's like, I actually have to have other girlfriends so it doesn't look suspicious. I was like, all right, guy, okay, Novadius. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I don't want you to have other girlfriends. It's like, but I have to save us. Do you understand? I'm doing this for us. So he gets his fake girlfriend or whatever the hell it is, who shows up at the end of the series. I don't know where you left off with this, but she shows up again, and it's fucking funny.
Oh man, did she double back the second one?
The fake second one. Yeah, she definitely doubles back. We are introduced to her Shinigami Rem, who is like, if you hurt her, I will murder you.
He was like, wouldn't that kill you? She's like, I don't care. I don't give no fuck about none of this shit.
She's like, I got a death note too. Fuck out of here. I ain't dropped mine, so you know it's up for anybody else. So she's continuing to send videos and stuff. They're continuing to go back and forth. It gets to this point again where L shows up at school once more, and Misa pulls up randomly. She doesn't even fucking go to this school. She don't go to any school. She's a fucking idol.
Yeah, you know.
Who needs education? You know what I'm saying? And while all the it's like, oh my god, is that Misa? And they're like, hey guys, you make this all possible for me. And I love the voice acting there. I think a great voice actor for Misa. But he wants a light. Is like, oh great, she's here, so she can get his name and we can kill him right now. This is actually awesome. And you know, at some point Misa's like, someone grabbed my butt, ew. And she's like, oh L. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, that's the unsettling part of being kind of like weird. Is that it's like, all right, he's kind of weird.
Yeah, you know.
But he's nice. You know what I'm saying? If he was weird and an asshole, it would be a different story.
Nah,
He punched in the face.
It.
If this was New York, if Misa was actually Yolanda, it would have been a different story. You know what I'm saying? But Misa's like, it's okay, kawaii. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was racist, but
you were pushing a line there. You were getting there, buddy.
But she she goes away. Her manager pulls her away. And this is one of the part where I feel like the white male supremacy is like running rampant in the way they lock fucking Misa up. But Light's like, I'll just call Misa, get his name, and then kill him right here. It's amazing. So he goes to pick up the phone, rings the phone. L has the phone. I was like, oh man. It's like, yeah, she accidentally dropped her phone. Goddamn liar. And he's like, I'll return it to her. And he's like, okay. And then as he's trying to call up Misa's backup phone, L gets a call. And they're like, oh, y'all did it? Okay, great. And then he turns to Light and was like, I don't know if you know this, but we've apprehended Misa under the suspicion of being the second Kira. And Light's like,
yeah, he said Fez did a sweep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Wow. Now listen, Light being future is all making sense.
No, he is.
He really is.
It's crazy. First of all,
Metro? Yeah, he gotta be Metro.
Little Metro. He's definitely Metro. The way they lock Misa up is kind of crazy. And I'll wait for hopefully they don't lock me up. But they essentially is like, it's okay. We slapped some drug charges on her manager. And all this other shit. I was like, this is nuts. They like put actual charges on her manager to get her out of the picture so they could kidnap Misa, and then when they kidnap Misa, so we get to the last part of this whole stretch. They
Oh yeah, they went crazy. I was just
they were
like,
strapped up. I thought she would be into it, but she's apparently not.
no, yeah, it was she gave off a different vibe.
Yeah, she's like, why am I here? Please kill me. And the funny part is after she loses the Death Note thing. So, she eventually gets to the point where she's like, just take this shit off of me. So she releases her ownership of the Death Note so she can return to normal. A sidebar. Also, got to talk about this. I missed like two extra, Chief Yagami fucking parts that pissed me off. One, he has his heart attack, and then somehow he feels the obligation to run a fucking car into the damn.
Oh yeah. First of all,
what is this nigga doing?
How did you even get access to that vehicle?
Who released you from the hospital after having a heart attack?
Like, first of all, fire every nurse.
Yeah, I was just like, what? I hate that. I was like, oh my god, he's making this about him again. And then this other part is when they lock Misa up, and then Light is offering to also go into solitary confinement to prove that he is Akira. He's like, actually, I don't know what I will do, so y'all need to lock me up too. And I'm just like, bro, this story is not about you.
Bro, he's a selfish dad, man. You're never home. Then finally, when some trouble happens, you try to make it about you. Well, we talk about bad anime dads.
He's not the worst.
He's not the worst.
But I think he's incompetent. I think he makes things about himself.
I think he has a stronger argument than Goku.
I think he cannot distinguish his job from other things. He might not be a bad dad, but he's definitely a bad cop. For sure.
Oh, horrible cop.
Yeah, he's a bad cop. Like, none of this makes sense. I don't know let me see what cases he solves, sir. Either way, Misa releases herself from the ownership of the Death Note and returns to normal. I think that part is fucking funny. It's like, is this some Misa Amani fantasy? These stalkers have been stalking me for so long, and I'll give you anything you want. Just let me go. And this Misa Amani fantasy bondage. I'm just like, what is going on here? I thought that was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Because she legitimately thought it was. You can tell there's a little bit of self-centeredness about it.
Yeah.
Because she's like, the only reason why niggas like you would kidnap me is if y'all had some weird lusty fantasy. And eventually it leads to Light also releasing ownership of the Death Note, but he had a plan put in place and everything. Light is like 8 steps ahead. They had a meeting in the forest. He buried his other book. He come back to the other book, tells Rem, if I say this, just release my thing. So now he's back to normal. And he's like, I'm not Kira. And L was just like, damn, something happened. This shit is weird though. So it leads to eventually the final episode of this little arc here, which is episode 17, where the killings have started again. Various people have died, so they're like, okay, it can't be them. So they release them under one condition. Well, not really release them, but they under the guise that they have to kill them. So 50 days in solitary confinement and more. They get to the place where it's like, okay.
They had shout out to Misa. She's a gangster because they had her strapped up. Yeah, for 50 days like that is crazy.
I hope they gave her like an energy drink or a power bar or something.
Oh, man, they was I don't know. They was pumping her full of nutrients on that IV.
Right. So they're handcuffed. No. Yeah, they're handcuffed, and then they're taken kind of like in the car, and by Light Yagami's dad, and they're like essentially like, we're gonna kill you, and we're gonna go and kill you. We have to at this point. So they're driving. Eventually, He says L is convinced that you're Kira Light, that Misa Amani is the second Kira. He is convinced that the only way we can prevent the murders is to execute the both of you. And they're like, wait, hold the
like, hey, whoa, dad, hey,
you are wilding. And she is like, you're a terrible father.
hey listen.
Like, go on, Misa. Anyway, he puts the gun to Light's head, and they're going to shoot him. And then they don't shoot him because they assume that if you're really going to kill him, Miss Misa would have used her weird Death Note powers to kill him almost immediately, have him had a real heart attack, second heart attack, a lethal one. So they were like, okay, I guess he's not. But in the time, we're going to build this whole separate building for you guys that we all have to stay in. Misa Amani will have to stay there.
Let's be real here, too. Up to this point, they're using taxpayer dollars.
This is a lot of money. There's a helicopter pad on top of this building.
They are using taxpayer dollars.
I don't know how taxes in Japan work, but
yeah, I don't know how, but I'm just gonna assume. We're just gonna assume.
Yeah,
they're using tax money to do all this shit, and I don't know. This is
if he was black, they would have just arrested him.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like he would have been.
No.
Listen,
let's just kill him.
They got thugs sitting in a jail.
Let's just kill him and say he was.
They got thugs sitting in jail right now,
bruh. They got mad people just chilling in jail. It's like in other situations, like we prove you're not Kira, so we're just gonna send you to a regular jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, so either way, Light and L have to be handcuffed to one another the entire time. It was a very like funny, cute way to kind of like end things, and then you get the like the look at the next arc, which is coming up with the 8 businessmen plan to murder other businessmen to be at the top of the business world kind of vibe. And that's kind of like how this ends with Ramon's like, humans are truly disgusting. And we're gonna, we eventually get into the next part of the series. But I will say this, these first 17 episodes, I mean, it probably could have lived and died there. If they decided, Kira, if they wanted to wrap it up, I think they could have.
I think it was at this point where I was like, okay, are we on a stupid finish alert?
It wasn't. Next part to me is when we really solidify. I feel like we're heading into stupid finish alert. The next part that we're going to talk about in the next batch of episodes, which will actually be episodes. Let me see which episodes did I have marked for this? So much in my notes. Too much in my notes. How about that? Next episodes are episodes 18 through 26. So we'll be covering that part, which is really just the businessman kind of like arc, like the business of the Death Note type of vibe.
Yeah, this is it. Well, we got to make sure our stocks are going up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
A month.
Yeah, and a bunch of stuff is much more. It becomes a lot more interesting, and then it also becomes, like I said before, instead of it becomes the hunt for L at this point, over the hunt for Light. So, yeah, I mean, this was definitely a great first episode, great first batch of series. I was locked in. I was like, all right, let me see how this ends. I had my thoughts of various things about it. It's not the perfect anime for me, but it's definitely intriguing enough where I was like, okay, next episode. Let's keep watching. So yeah, a great set of episodes. And yeah, if you want to listen to more of The Lookout on RNC Radio, anywhere you listen to podcasts, The Lookout RNC on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And let's see, what else? Check out our last episode of Mount Silver. It's great. Tap into that. Tap into the 2 previous episodes as well, where we talk about
Daima, and we talk about Dandadan, and we talk about Blue Box.
There we go.
Yeah, we get into some new things, but yes.
So next 2 weeks, we'll still be continuing our conversation on Death Note. So make sure you guys at least catch up. Let us know your information. Let us know how you feel about this Boondocks Death Note world bending that I've actually done, which I think is a cool idea that they eventually should do, or make it at least make it a comic book or something. And yeah, any final words, LJ?
Yeah, listen, hey, Yankees in 6.
Yankees in 6.
Yankees in 6. We're running off 4 straight. You know,
that's just how it's gonna go.
That's just how life works, bro. So yeah, you know, I'm not losing no faith. I ain't been sleeping well the past couple nights, but it's all good.
Hey man, listen. Find a Death Note. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? With that said, thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Take care.